Since the game's release, an age-old debate has been, is ancient fruit better or is Starfruit better? As more people pick up the game for the first time, they also wonder this because some people say one is better as jam while the other is better as wine. Are they worth being dehydrated? I'm just some guy named Zero that likes to look things up on the wiki, so I did the research so you don't have to. There are 4 main categories to look at when we're trying to figure out which is the best moneymaker: accessibility, grow time, vibes, and value. Yes, I understand money is a factor in this, but in the case of the sweet gem berry, that sells for the most in the game even though you can't turn it into wine. Yes, a gold-starred sweet gem berry beats iridium starfruit and ancient fruit wine, but with it being hard to get and taking it a whole season to grow, I don't see your farms full of it. Anyway, accessibility. Getting your first ancient fruit seed can sometimes be locked behind RNG. It has a 0.7% chance of being found in the cindersap forest and mountains by artifact spots, the little worms in the ground. Bugs, cave flies, grub, mutant fly, and mutant grubs all have a 0.5% chance of dropping an ancient seed. Fishing treasure chests have a 0.7 to 0.8% chance. Artifact troves have a 3.7% chance of producing one. And the seed maker has a 0.5% chance of producing one at random. Prior to the most recent update, 1.6.3, you used to be able to purchase a seed from the traveling cart lady if it was in her stock. That is no longer the case, so you must find one naturally. Gunther does give you 1 ancient seeds if you donate the artifact ancient seed, along with the recipe to craft plantable seeds. Spoiler, you need the artifact to craft a single plantable seed. So accessibility isn't the easiest if you're having bad luck with your world. If you're finding them like crazy, then congratulations on living my dream. When it comes to starfruit seeds, even if RNG isn't on your side, you can still buy these seeds. The traveling cart lady has a chance of selling starfruit seeds for 600 to 1000 gold, along with selling the actual fruit for anywhere between 2250 gold to 3750 gold. It is also possible to purchase a single starfruit from the luau for 3000 gold. All of these prices are ridiculous considering once you get access to the desert, a single seed from Sandy's shop is 400 gold. The only free way of getting your hands on a seed would be to donate 15 items to Gunther at the museum. To get to the desert, it'll cost you 42,500 gold to complete the treasury room bundle. So who wins the round of accessibility? Honestly, neither is ideal. On one hand, it can take anywhere from a single in-game day to years until you find an ancient seed, whereas the starfruit has a rather consistent method to getting your hands on one. For that reason, I am simply giving this to starfruit. But ancient fruit gets a half point because if you are extremely lucky, then it's great. Growth time. When we look at growth time, there are 2 main factors to look at: the season these crops can grow, and obviously, how long it takes to grow. Ancient fruit can grow in spring, summer, and fall. Once it's planted, it'll reproduce fruit every 7 days. However, it takes a whole season to grow, 28 days. But afterward, there is no replanting ever, unless obviously you want to move your farm around. Starfruit can only grow during summertime. It does have a shorter growth time as it grows every 13 days, but it does require you to replant it every 13 days. I debated whether or not to include the greenhouse and Ginger Island as a factor for growth time. I decided to include it in the conversation, because an interesting fact is that if you plant everything on the same day, replanting included, after 91 days, you'll get 9 harvests from your ancient fruit while only getting 7 harvests from starfruit. Yes, this does include the 28-day growth period it takes for ancient fruit to grow. So considering even with the long growth period, I will be giving this round to ancient fruit. Vibes. What is the vibe I'm judging on here? Truthfully, this is the most biased part of the voting process because it's how they make me feel when it comes to farming them. As someone who mainly waits to plant their first ancient seed inside of the greenhouse, I don't mind that it takes all season to grow because I don't have many of them to begin with, so watering isn't an issue. Plus, once they're fully grown and I have sprinklers set up, I don't have to touch them till they're ready for harvest. Starfruit though, I have to replant those suckers every 13 days. It's not even every 14, so I can't just say, oh, it's Monday, you know what that means, replant day. Plus, starfruit jelly and pineapple jelly look the same to me, and that bothers me. Yes, dehydrated cranberries and strawberries also bother me. I do like the way starfruit looks as a fruit more than ancient fruit though. Because this is a very biased category, I'm only going to give ancient fruit a half point. Value. Now, the most important category is what's going to give you the most money at the end of the day. Here are the key things we're going to be looking at. Until I say otherwise, we're assuming you do not have Artisan. We will get there in a minute, just be patient. We will also compare this to a one-to-one breakdown, one of each item, not a whole sprinkler set of them. And lastly, I understand you can put Starfruit in a seed maker to make more seeds for virtually free, but for today's purposes, we will not be assuming you've done that. Selling ancient fruit as is with no production goes as the following: 550 gold, 687 gold, 825 gold, 1,100 gold. Selling Starfruit as is with no production and factoring in the cost of buying the seed, which was 400 gold, goes as follows: 350 gold, 537 gold, 725 gold, 1,100 gold. But I understand that no one is really selling the fruit as is, they're going into a keg, a preserve jar, or a dehydrator. Ancient fruit wine sells for the following: 1,650 gold, 2,062 gold, 2,475 gold, 3,300 gold. Starfruit wine, factoring in the cost of seeds, sells for the following: 1,850 gold, 2,412 gold, 2,975 gold, 4,100 gold. As wine, even with the seed price, Starfruit wins that production. All wine takes the same amount of time to produce and age, so time isn't truly a factor in this. But how do the jelly versions of these items compare? Ancient fruit jelly and Starfruit jelly actually sell the same. Once you subtract 400 gold from the Starfruit seed cost, you get a profit of 1,150 gold, so they tie in the jelly department. When it comes to dehydrated versions of these fruit, ancient fruit sells for 4,150 gold. Broken down, that comes out to about 830 gold per ancient fruit. Starfruit sells for 5,650 gold before we factor in seed price. Afterwards, it makes it 3,650 gold worth of profit, breaking it down to about 730 gold per Starfruit, meaning ancient fruit is better as a dehydrated good. But hold on, before we call it a draw, we now bring an Artisan to the conversation. Most people have it chosen as a profession, and with it increasing these goods by 40%, how different can things really get? The answer is very different. Even with the cost of Starfruit seeds, it comes out on top of ancient fruit in every way. It had already been slightly better as wine before the increase, it now sells for over 1,000 gold more as its most valuable state. Also, it now beats the jelly version of these fruits by 170 gold, along with selling for 100 gold more as a dehydrated good. But does this mean it was a waste of time to be growing both and we should focus all of our time, energy, and money into Starfruit? No, it doesn't, because it takes half the time to grow ancient fruit than it does Starfruit. Ancient fruit is always going to produce faster than Starfruit can grow without speed grow. Personally, I would stick to Starfruit in your kegs and age them as you please. I would save your ancient fruit for preserve jars, and dehydrators are also good if you're impatient, but it's not necessarily the best long-term moneymaker. Overall, when you have the Artisan perks, neither is necessarily a bad option, and at the end of the day, it's really up to you and your play preference to do what makes you ultimately happy. Your enjoyment is more important than making money in a game, because eventually you're going to get that stupid golden clock, or frankly, any other goals you have set. If you enjoyed this video, have any questions or other videos that you would like to see me do, let me know in the comments. And make sure you subscribe here and follow all of my links down below for more content. And if I don't see you in the next video, I hope to see you whenever I see you again. Okay, bye!